Okay, so you've been tapped on the shoulder, you've been a great individual contributor, so your boss has come up to you and said, hey, we want to promote you, we want to make you a supervisor or a manager over a team. Wow, that's great news. You're going to be a manager and you're going to get more money and you're going to get more responsibility. Oh, that all sounds great. Except then as you start thinking about it, you realize that maybe you haven't received any training that's specific to being a leader. Welcome to Outcast Consulting. My name is Michael Reese. I am a principal consultant with Outcast Consulting. I have approximately 2 decades of experience working in human resources, which 2 decades does probably nothing more than make me sound really old. But what it should also tell you is that I have a lot of experience working with leaders from the C-suite down to leads. I have a lot of experience working with these leaders and coaching them and providing assistance as they've struggled to get through different employee relations type of issues. And so today I'm going to share a lot of that experience with you and hopefully you find it helpful. So let's go ahead and jump into some of the material today. So today's information is helping new leaders avoid some of the common pitfalls that they may face as a new leader, things that they haven't been prepared for yet. So let's start by talking about a common myth that's out there. And that common myth is this, that great individual contributors automatically make really great leaders. Now, in some cases, that tends to be the case. A great individual contributor does what it takes, they get the training that they need, and they become a really great leader. But the opposite can also be true. If we throw our new leaders into their new position without any kind of training, we really are setting them up for failure. And so this myth that great employees make great managers, sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. So some of the skills that you have, this should be good news, some of the skills that you've acquired or you've gained as an individual contributor will likely translate to being a great manager. So if you moved your way up through the organization and you have been an individual contributor at the same department that you're now managing, that means that likely you're going to be able to know what the day-to-day responsibilities are of the employees that you're managing. And that's really helpful. When they have questions, you're already going to have insight into what the job is, what the job role is, what the day-to-day responsibilities are, how the departments work together. That's all going to translate to help you be a really good manager. Also, as good individual contributors, typically have really good relationships with those around them. That is absolutely going to translate as well. So if over the course of the last several years you've acquired the skill set to get along with others, that's going to be super helpful as a manager as well. So there's also going to be some things that you typically are going to need to be taught. Things like how to work through others. So as an individual contributor, typically you're most concerned about doing what's been assigned to you and making sure that you get your work done. But now all of a sudden as a leader, you have to decide what gets delegated to other people and how do you make sure that those other people do a really good job and that they come through when they're supposed to. You're also going to have to coach and to train other people. Now, you may have trained somewhat in your individual contributor role, but as a manager, that really becomes a main focus of your job, training and coaching. And coaching is a skill set. I actually have an entire, like a full day training on coaching. We'll talk a little bit about it here today, but training and coaching are going to be really important in your new role, and it's likely a skill that you haven't been trained on. You also need to be able to hold people accountable. So it's really important to be able to delegate, get things off of your plate, give people appropriate direction, and then hold them accountable for what you've asked them to do. So that's a skill set that likely, as an individual contributor, you haven't had to fully implement into your day-to-day routine. So now here's the good news. There's a reason that you were selected to be a manager or a supervisor. There's something about you that is definitely valued by the organization. And so you should be excited to know that people have confidence in you. And here's the other thing that is really good news is that being a great leader is actually not an inherent thing that we're born with. It's something that you can be trained and you can be taught. So as you go throughout the course today, you're going to learn some things, and knowing them is one thing, but applying them and practicing them and getting good at them is what's going to make you a great leader. And pretty much everybody has that ability. if they're willing to put in the effort and the work. So with that introduction to the course today, let's go ahead and jump into what are some of the common pitfalls that you need to be aware of as a new leader or manager.